All right, good morning, boys. What is up? Today is Thursday, January 22nd. Made around $6,400 today. Now, it wasn't supposed to be as much. I was supposed to make a little bit over 4,500, but I got really lucky with my fills, and I made a little more than I was supposed to, so very blessed for that. I'm trading 5 Lucid 150Ks and 5 Tradify instant fundings in case anyone's curious what I'm trading. Now, let's get into the trade recap. So, bias coming into market open was very neutral, because you can argue structure is bullish, but at the same time, with bullish structure in mind, I did mark out this unfilled 4-hour gap above us that I thought we could potentially fill, as well as this rejection wick up here. We might just tap into this high before, what I say like that, we might just tap into this high before taking, it's like a fucking Minecraft villager, we might take out this high before filling a rejection wick. But what else do I notice? We have a huge SMT with ES, because ES hasn't filled that new week opening gap yet. So I wouldn't know how to call this an SMT. I guess it's an SMT here, right? Because on Nasdaq, we swept this high, but on ES we didn't. I guess this is what you call an SMT. I don't know, we have like an NWOG SMT situation. We filled NWOG on Nasdaq, but we didn't fill NWOG on ES. I don't know what candle you draw it from specifically, but my theory was we filled NWOG. We have like 5 unfilled 15-minute gaps resting below us. If you look at my take profits, they're quite literally all unfilled 15-minute gaps, right? First, it was this low. Then it was this unfilled 15-minute gap. Then we made an internal low, right? That's the one I marked out. Let me delete my trade and show you guys my thought process before I do anything, right? All right. Unfilled 15-minute gap, unfilled 15-minute gap, unfilled 15-minute gap. Midnight open. And then what else? Unfilled hourly gap. So that's my theory. Also, my theory is that we're so overextended in this range, I would love to see price retrace into at least 0.5 of the range, which 0.5 of the range was also perfectly aligned with my take profit, which I'll go over in a minute. But yeah, the range was very overextended. We have midnight open, unfilled hourly, all these things below us, as well as a bearish SMT with ES. If you take a look at this dumbass indice, all right, we can see here, from 9:30, ES just kept on taking out the highs. Nasdaq did not take out a single high from 9:30, right? So every high put in place from 9:30 to 9:40 was a bearish SMT. Literally bearish SMT at every one of these highs. Here, all this bearish SMT. This is the most significant one, 9:39. Why? 9:39 is the high that swept. No, I guess it's not. 9:41. Even fucking better. 9:41 is the high that swept ES and not Nasdaq. So we have an SMT there with ES, right? Which I don't really trade SMTs, but it did help me a lot with my conviction today. Because I did want this 5-minute gap to get tapped into before I went short. But the fact that we didn't, we might get a V-shaped recovery here. Like, look at these wicks off midnight open. Crazy respect. The fact that we didn't tap the 5-minute, I was a little bit like, oh, are we really gonna like dump now? Like, should we just tap the 3-minute and then maybe push lower? We didn't tap a 2-minute, 1-minute, 3-minute, or 5-minute, or 5, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we didn't tap any of those gaps. Sorry, I was counting. We didn't tap any of those gaps. So I was like, what the fuck? But we did end up getting a 1-minute change in state in delivery after a 1-minute SMT. So I waited for all this structure to form, right? This 15-minute gap got tapped into and we pushed up from there. Originally, I wanted this low. I wanted to take this. This is my original trade idea. Some open high here with my stops like right here for like a 1-to-1. I would have entered this trade with like 2 contracts probably just because it's 20 points and 20 points. However, take a look at ES at 9:34. Here, I really didn't like how ES was just completely bullish and then tapped into a 1-minute gap. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of this. ES was trading at the high. Nasdaq was all the way down here. I was a little bit iffy. I was like, you know, maybe we just do want to push a little bit higher into this range before getting an entry short. However, that would have played out, would have been done trading way faster. I had to wait a little bit more. Now these draws aren't valid because they're taken. What else do we have below us? Unfilled 15-minute, unfilled hourly, midnight open, unfilled 15-minute, right? There's actually 5 unfilled 15 minutes in this leg. 1, 2, 3. All right, 3, but that's still kind of crazy. All right, we make an SMT with a 5-minute, and then we see what? And then we see a sweep of this black candle. We swept the high. We never closed above it, so we actually turtle swooped it. I'm not a turtle swooper, but we did turtle swoop that high. And then we got a candle closure below the body's close. What is this? Textbook change in state and delivery. Now, I could have entered off the change in state and delivery, but once again, I didn't like the way ES was moving. All right, this is at 941. ES was still all the way up here. I was like, all right, I want to see ES flush before I even think about entering on Nasdaq. I'm sure Nasdaq will still dump, right? 942 comes. We respect the change in state and delivery while inversing this bullish gap. Not sure if you guys can see this, but this is a bullish gap. So we get an IFEG while respecting the CISD. I enter right before that candle closes. Stops were there. My take profit was originally like I was gonna like trail at this low. It was gonna be something like this. All right. It was a little bit negative risk reward. I'm not gonna lie. I got a really bad feel. It was like a 0.8 risk reward. I was essentially risking like 400 to make like 380. Like it wasn't that bad, but I got very lucky. And the way this candle closed here, or pushed down, I got filled all the way down here. So this is the trade I ended up taking. I got filled all the way down here, and I took profit, and now we dump. Yes, I want to see. I do want to see the market be more bearish. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to long. I think having tomorrow to short this could be absolutely beautiful. Assuming we get it, we could very well just like not do that, but that would be pretty cool. That would be free shorts tomorrow, I feel like. But yeah, the market here is extremely overextended. I don't like the way it is. I want to see it, if we're bullish, I want to see it at least pull back into OT of the range. What is OTE? Literally what we're trading in right now. So if the market reverses right now, I wouldn't even be upset, right? We're also trading inside an hourly gap. It's not a terrible place. I just don't think that we're really bullish on the higher time frame. I think we just wanted to fill end block and then push lower. But from what I noticed, draws for today were definitely bearish. Order flow was telling us we were fucking bearish. Not actual order flow. I don't do order flow. I mean like the candles were telling us they were bearish. I don't know how else to put it. Right? The way the candles are moving were clearly bearish. We kept getting open, high, low closes. The only retrace we got here was a fake retrace of 5-minute SMT at that high because ES took out that high. Right? We actually have NWAG on ES right here. That's the rest of NWAG. And then we got an IFEG and a CISD to the downside, targeting an unfilled gap and this internal low, which was the original TP. But pretty cool day. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. I will be there to answer. Free Discord is also linked in the bio. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Any questions, let me know. And safe trading. Peace out.